What's up, people? This is a retake I had to do because my fucking phone recorded. I recorded it fucked up. It like recorded it sideways. So I'm actually speaking of which, let me just check real quick. Okay, it's doing it right. But anyway, today I am reviewing Sleepaway Camp 3, which came out a year after Sleepaway Camp 2. In 1989. I think this one was okay. It's not as strong. Because this one was almost like not a scared straight, but I guess in a way a scared straight program where they sent these troubled teens and Angela poses as one and basically wreaks havoc. That's pretty much the film. Like the characters, really, you have Tony. He's he's almost like a greaser gangster guy. Then you have Marcia, who's like his love interest. They're like the two main teenager characters. Then you have Smoke Boy, he's like a punk looking guy, and then I'm just gonna call him Boombox too because I do not really remember his name. And then you have the racist lady Cindy, which was just out of nowhere. It was forced. The whole thing about this movie, I think my issue is, and it's a minor one, because at the end of the day, at least this movie knows what it is. Like, there's a couple referential stuff, like they make a Saturday the 14th joke, and Pamela Springsteen plays Angela really good in this, so I think I like that about the film. But overall, it knows what it is. It's basically Angela wreaks havoc. You get some fun kills here and there. And that's it. Like, the characters aren't great or anything. They're not really developed. And to be fair, most slasher characters aren't, unless it's like Scream or Halloween. Like, there are exceptions, but a lot of them aren't. Like, these, especially at this time, stuff like this. This was just made. Watch some campers get slaughtered. And I think that was the aspect about this one I'm not as big a fan of. The second one and the first one, you had campers, you had counselors, you had like a whole complete summer camp. This wasn't that. This was just a scared straight program with a camp, like, fucking aesthetic. But yeah, I mean, it's an okay watch. Like, you could watch this if you want, like, watch like Sleepaway Camp 1, 2, and 3 like back to back. I mean, I know there's a Return to Sleepaway Camp, but that one, you almost have to, even though I haven't watched it, I have looked ahead, and it basically erases 2 and 3. So it's you probably have to watch that one after 1. But yeah, if you want to include these 2 and 3, you can watch 1, 2, and 3 back to back. It works. So. But for what it is, I would give it like a 6. It's a decent watch. I don't love it. Like, I really enjoyed 2, even though I wouldn't call it a great movie, but it was a fun one. And I think there was more good element. It had more of a traditional, like, camp slasher element, whereas this one, I just think it happened to be in the woods. But anyway. I'm not going to probably be doing a video tomorrow, because I'm going to most likely be going to my friends, so by the time I get back, it's gonna be really late. So, but other than that, I'm gonna get started here. I will be back on Thursday with Ghost in the Darkness with Val Kilmer. I'll be reviewing that on Thursday. That's an underrated movie. Honestly, I haven't watched it in a while, but it is a very underrated one. But I'll get started here. So the movie opens up with the the actual camper who's supposed to join in this camp excursion, Maria, ends up getting killed. I think this is actually a pretty funny intro with Angela. She runs her over with a truck, like a whole semi truck, takes her bag, and then like the camp roll, I think it's called like Rolling Horizons. Bus shows up, and then when the bus leaves, it just says Angela's back. It was pretty funny intro, and the soundtrack's pretty much like MTV metal, like songs you would probably have listened to like on MTV at the time. And like even in the opening, like before like you actually got to the credits, like Maria, like when she wakes up, she's like listening to like some kind of metal. So they arrive. This is where we're introduced to her. They introduce the campers. The really only ones that are really important are Tony. He's like from LA. He's like a gangster from LA. And then you have Marcia, who's like basically the love interest. And then you have Officer Barney, who's Zach Whitmore. He's the father of Sean from the last film. And I actually think he was a cool character. I wish they had did a bit more with him, because really for the most of it, he's just kind of, I'm gonna be, cool with the kids. He breaks up a fight between Tony and Boombox guy, and then he just kind of hangs out the kids, and then he has the standoff with Angela in the end, which I actually really liked, but it was so short because I'm just gonna spoil. He gets shot early. I wish he was just a bit later in the movie where he actually died. But anyway, I'll talk about that when we get there. But yes, the kids introduce themselves. There's like a news lady there. I think her name's like Tawny. And so after the shoot, she asks Angela, because she thinks Angela's like a drug dealer, because this is basically where all the troubled kids go. She asks for cocaine. Angela ends up getting her Ajax cleaner. And Tawny sniffs it and then dies. Then this is actually where we're introduced to Officer Barry. You have like the one dude making like pig noises, and then he gets into a fight with Tony, and then then Barry breaks it up. And then, just gonna jump ahead now, because I like the movie for what it is, but it does not meander, but it just feels like some scenes are just strung together, because like, oh, this is happening now. But yeah, the kids get broken up into groups, like, because they're not really counselors, they're just asshole adults, minus Barry. You have Herman, who's basically, he's like, I don't know if it was like supposed to be like the guy from the first one who was having like an affair with one of but this time it was with one of the kids that came. And then you have Lily, who's just a lazy bitch. But yeah, they get all separated, and basically they all have groups. And the group of kids. So Angela initially goes with Herman's group. And in Herman's group you have Peter, who basically all he does the whole movie is just throw like firecrackers and basically fucks with Angela a couple times. And then you have Smoke Boy, he joins along with. But so Herman is hooking up with one of the counselors, the campers. Angela goes back, kills both of them. Then that night kills Peter by with a fire. She stuffs like a firework in his mouth, and then it blows up his face, which the shot of it, and I get it, it's the 80s, but I couldn't help but laugh. It looks so bad. The fucking plaster, which is supposed to look like his face, it just looks so bad because it's not even moving. It's just his eyes are closed. Anyway, so yeah, and then Smoke Boy realizes she kills him, and then burns evidence, and then goes into Lily's group. Kills, I think the girl's name is Arab. She's like all her character is, I'm tough Asian chick, kind of with 80s hair. But yeah, she ends up getting killed. She gets killed with an axe. So she then now is part of Lily's group. And part of Lily's group is this guy named Bobby, who's basically his character is I'm nerdy white dude who has a because basically he later admits that his kink is being tied up. I don't know why that's in the movie, but at least here it's funny and it's done for a laugh. Even though he supposedly like wants to be in politics, but I don't understand why he's here. Even though he does say it, but it's still like I guess in a more of a like why though. We had this random camp, which they do. At least they do mention the murders, um, that happened from the previous movies, but it is kind of like passing. So, then, our next person, I'm just gonna kind of jump ahead a little bit, because I can talk about this character just overall. Is Cindy, who basically her character is just all of a sudden she's just like super racist because she gets into it with Boombox dude because all he, basically his whole movie he just plays like the Boombox and she gets into it and she's like saying like she even drops like the whole hard R and it's just weird. I don't know. I just think it's just out of nowhere. There's no build to it because there's scenes earlier where she's in the cabin with a black girl. There's a black girl character. They don't really go out of their way to give her a name, or she does have a name, but it's like she's not one of the main characters. She's just in the background. But she was there earlier with her, and I didn't sense that she didn't like her because she was, I don't know. It was just out of nowhere. It was just very just thrown in there because I get it. Because a lot of the Sleepaway Camp movies always go for like the people who die are usually like asshole people. So I guess that's what they were going for, but it was just out of nowhere, and it was just it was like 0 to 100. She's like saying like darkies and all this shit. I'm like, what the fuck? Anyway, so they have to do this trust exercise. Basically, it's just an excuse for Lily to get rid of the kids, and Cindy is partnered with Angela. Angela then ties her up and then leads her to a flagpole, strings her up, and then basically I do like that she talks while she kills you in it, but it's like she's just so chipper about it. Because I think, Cindy was like screaming, "Why are you doing this?" I mean, she's like basically screaming all how fucked up she is, and then drops her head first, which I thought was pretty brutal. Like, I think there were some good kills. Like, if you just want to watch for just the kills alone, it's a pretty good film. So after that, she then Lily does this, forces Angela to do that, the tie together. She ties her and Bobby together, and Bobby basically wants to hook up with her. So she basically says, "Yeah, we can do it," but it's really just a set for him to get killed. She then kills Lily, this is a pretty cool, pretty good death. She like throws her in like a thing of fucking like she buries her like neck first and then runs her over with the lawnmower and then kills Bobby by like tying him up and then ripping his arms off. And she even makes a funny joke like, "Oh, another one less idiot in politics," which is pretty funny. She then tries to go to Officer Whitmore's group, but initially, he's skeptical because how she was able to get away with it was she tried to pull up, "Oh, they wanted me to swap here now and be in this group." So then Whitmore decides to go with, because she said she was going to swap with Marcia. So they all go together, and then she feigns an injury to try to stay in the group. And then Officer Whitmore is healing her, while Marcia runs outside and finds Lily's body, screams. This is where Barry realizes that it's Angela, tells Marcia to run, and this is where we get the standoff between the two. I actually like this scene, even though it was a bit too short for me. Because after this, yeah, she shoots him pretty much. Like, he's like, "Oh, how are you gonna kill me?" And basically, he names basically how he killed all the people from the last movie. And then she says, "Gun." It was too quick for me. I think I would have been cool if she shot him, but then he runs away. And I don't know if maybe they couldn't afford to do a gun scene where she's shooting multiple times. I don't know. I think they could have done that scene a bit different. Because I actually like the character. It would have been kind of cool to have them have a legit final confrontation. And I get it. This movie is a dumb 80s slasher movie. They were probably not thinking about this shit. So after killing Whitmore, she sets him up for Tony and the other group of campers to find, and basically forces them to find Marsha because she already had Marsha tied up. And yeah, so Tony and Marsha escape because the other two get killed in a trap. And then Marsha fights Angela. I thought the problem I had with this was it was just they struggled for a bit and then Marsha stabs her. Like they struggle for like a bit and then for like the knife and Marsha gets a hold of it and stabs her and then leaves. I thought that was kind of weak for an ending. I don't know. I thought Officer Whitmore, just because you had the whole element from the last movie. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but so basically Tony and Marsha set up that he's gonna leave LA to go to Georgia with her. Or no, Ohio, that's what it was. Then it's basically revealed that Angela's alive. It's pretty much a sequel. They were probably trying to set up a sequel for a fourth one. That never happened because we ended up getting Return to Sleepaway Camp. And the movie ends. I think this movie it's an okay one. You're not watching for the characters. You're just watching for, there's some titties. You got the music. You got solid kills. There's some decent practical effects in this movie. So, it's a decent ride. I guess why I'm giving it a 6. I'm actually going to give it a 6.5. Actually, it was a decent watch. It's just, it knows what it is. Pamela Springsteen really is really good as Angela. And I would have actually not minded if they had done a fourth one. But we never got it. So it is what it is. But this one is enjoyable. It knows what it is. The characters aren't important, but you got some solid kills. It delivers on the not just the gore factor, but even just like Angela's the villain. I think she's a fun antagonist. Like I think Officer Whitmore is the only like kind of I wish we gotten like a bit more of him and I think he's like the only missed opportunity. But aside from that, it's a fine 80s slasher. It does its job. So, and you can watch it like the first Sleepaway Camp, second one, and then this one back to back. It works. So, but as usual, I'm gonna take one more hit. I'll be back on Thursday, most likely. If I'm not back, if I do a video tomorrow, it'll be in the morning. But I probably will not be doing a video in the morning. So I'm just gonna say I won't be doing a video in the morning. So I'll be back on Thursday with Ghost in the Darkness. Really underrated creature feature movie with, and the actual story about these lions that are actually like killing people in Africa is pretty crazy story. The only difference was they were male lions that was like one of the few that didn't have a mane. But I get it. Hollywood knows that most people know male lions mane. So they just stuck with that. It works. It doesn't change the movie for me. Val Kilmer's great in it. It's a fun little underrated one. Fun little gem that came out in the mid-90s. So I haven't watched it in a bit. Probably like at least 7 years. I think I watched it like 7 or 8 years ago. Like when it was on, like it was either Sci-Fi or I watched it just because I was in like a creature feature mode. Because I think I was watching probably like Deep Blue Sea also and like Lake Placid and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna be doing on Thursday. But yeah, Sleepaway Camp 3 is 6 out of 10. Cheers. Fuck the Biden administration. I'll talk to y'all on Thursday. Peace.